giving a presentation on avian diversities in the vicinity of radiation exposed zone and radiation free zone. Okay. The first need for this was, it was done as a project in my third semester for MSc. I am currently in JIS. I am pursuing my MSc. I am in fourth semester, but this was done in third semester, and it was done with two other persons altogether. So we heard that in 2015, when there was the rumor for 5G, it said that the birds were dying for 5G. And later on, after 2 years, WHO gave a report that it was not the case and nothing happens with the 5G radiation. But just 2 years after that, Mr. Pattanayak, he gave a research paper and he showed that for small animals, it can pose a threat if it has a larger surface area of body compared to the amount of body fluid in them. Like, it can happen for rats, it can happen for mice, it can happen for birds also. So after that, in my third semester, my professor, Shovik sir, he told me that we can work on that and we can see that if something happens in our locality. So a study was recently done in Nadia district, but we wanted to do it on our own. So we chose Arambagh for that, and for that, I would like to say that the amount of subscriber base has already doubled in 2015, and if we see at the data that we have got of 2021, we cannot get the recent data. We see that the number of subscribers has increased by a great amount from January 21 to February 21 itself. So there is a boost in teledependency, and that's why there are certain neurogenetic effects, and we already know that for the lower frequency ranges of the RF radiation, there is a considerable damage in the neurogenetics part of smaller animals, because birds lose their track, because the amount of fluid in brain of any animal is about 90%. So there is a blood-brain barrier that gets destroyed under exposure of low radiations of RF frequency. So considering that, if we move to 5G, there can be threats, there cannot be threats, but as we see that 5G ranges in the 3100 MHz range, so that's a considerably higher frequency. Higher frequency has more energy, but the problem is that it attenuates faster. So for 5G, we need to place towers at a shorter distances. But in India, we don't have 5G towers, we have 4G towers. 4G frequency is closer to 5G, and we have one tower and another tower at a greater distance. So the telecommunication company in India are doing, they're increasing the amount of output power from the towers, the stationary towers, which is not according to TRAI regulation. That has also been shown by Mr. Pattanayak. He showed that 50% of the towers in Kota region are not following the regulations, and they are transmitting at powers of 1.75 times the chosen power by the government. And the government also says that our body safe limit is 1.6 watt per kg for 6 minutes a day. WHO also said that it is not any problematic in the given safe levels. But in India, we don't use that for such shorter times. More than 70 minutes a day, a person average uses the mobile phone. So we are exposed more than the safer limits. Okay. And so we did this study. So we did a field visit. In Arambagh area, we chose to radiation zone to radiation free zone. Radiation zones are the municipality region and the panchayat region, and radiation free zones are the agricultural field and the forest region. So we did two methods. One is the point count method, another one is the line transect method to count the number of birds in the region. We found out that the line transect method was more useful for us, and we used the Shannon index, and using that we found out the diversity. Evenness is not shown here. Evenness is given by Shannon index divided by ln of the S, the total number of distinct species. And we found out also using a meter that the power, the max power is 2.5 milliwatt in the urban region, suburban region, and it considerably decreased in the rural habitat, and in agricultural habitat it was pretty low, and it was almost negligible in forest habitat. And we did the study, we saw all the bars, we plotted a graph, and we can see that from the graph, in the second graph and the third graph, there is a good amount of evenness, but in the first and the last graph, the evenness is not so much. That means there is a depreciation in the variance of species in the first, that is in the urban region and in the forest region. And from that we plotted and we got the alpha, beta and gamma diversities. Yes, sir. And after that we plotted the evenness and we found out that the maximum evenness we find in the agricultural land, which we thought we would get in the forest land, but it was not the case. Second, we get it in the rural region and not also in the forest land. And from this we conclude that from the data that we have, the maximum number of birds we find in the semi-urban region are myna and crow, 20% and 30%, that accounts to 50%. And other species are not in that amount. And in suburban habitats, there is power fluctuation because they are not maintaining the same bird, as I just told in Kota it's happening. And there is increasing number of sparrow in the urban region, though we thought that sparrow being a small bird, it would not be in the urban region, but opposed to our thought, we didn't find sparrow in any other three regions. So that was a contradictory thing that we got. And the most important thing that we observed, that there was no bird, specifically no bird in any of the cell phone towers. And specifically, I specifically didn't see any bird, and Sarah also didn't saw any bird. So that means small birds or bigger birds, they don't want to go near the towers, whereas they are sitting on the wires nearby, but they are not going near the tower. That means they must be facing some problems which we are hiding, maybe due to some corporate beneficial thoughts, I think. And as I saw that we got the maximum evenness in rural area. So why are we getting in rural area? We thought, I don't know, because this is not a clear conclusion, but as per our understanding, rural areas we have food for the birds also, but in the forest area it's hard to find. So for that reason we think that the number of birds are also more in the rural areas, and evenness is also good in rural areas. So this is our conclusion from that, and we thank Arambagh municipality and Horinkola Panchayat because they have assisted us, and our friends out there, our sir and our department. And there are some photos of birds. I have taken the references. All of the references we have studied, especially the third reference by Mr. Patana, that was highly useful for us to start this project on the problems that the birds face. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
আচ্ছা, একটা জাস্ট আমি কৌতূহল বসত, সেটা হচ্ছে যে এই যে মোবাইল টাওয়ার থেকে আমি সিগন্যালটা মেজার করছি, ঠিক আছে, তো এটা আমি কিভাবে মেজার করছি?
আচ্ছা, সৌভিক স্যার আমাদেরকে একটা, তুমি দেখো, সৌভিক স্যার আমাদেরকে একটা মেশিন দিয়েছিল, কমলা রঙের মাথা, ইলেকট্রোস্মক মিটার।
আচ্ছা,
ইলেকট্রোস্মক মিটার, ওটা দিয়ে তিনটে জিনিস মেজার করা যায়, পাওয়ার মেজার করা যায় আর কারেন্ট ভোল্টেজ মেজার করা যায়। ওগুলো আমরা করিনি, শুধু পাওয়ার একটা সেট দিয়ে রাখতো, শুধু বলতো যে এই সকালবেলায় বেরা, তুমি এই জায়গায় হাঁটো, আর ডিস্টেন্সটা হিসাব করে তুমি কত হচ্ছে ওটা কাগজে লিখে নাও।
হ্যাঁ, অবভিয়াসলি, কারণ ডিসটেন্সের উপর তো ম্যাটার করবে।
হ্যাঁ, ওই মানে আরবান রিজিয়নে ওই যে ফল করছে, এই যে আরবান রিজিয়নে যে ফলটা করছে এই ডিসটেন্সের সাথে,
হ্যাঁ,
ও র‍্যাপিড ফল হচ্ছে।
বারটা কিভাবে ডাউন করবে?
বারটা সে দুটো মেথডে কাউন্ট করতে হয়, একটা হচ্ছে পয়েন্ট মেথড আর একটা হচ্ছে লাইন ট্রানজিট মেথড। পয়েন্ট মেথডে স্যার কি করতাম, এই যে মাঠটা, এই মাঠের কোনায় একটা জায়গা আছে, মাছার মতো করা থাকতো, ওখানে আড্ডা মারতে আসতো ওখানকার লোকজন, আমরা ওখানেই বসতাম। দিয়ে ওই সকালের দিকে আর কি, মানে দুটো সময় মেজার করা যায়, এক সকালে এক সন্ধ্যেবেলায়। তো সন্ধ্যেবেলায় পসিবল হতো না, কারণ আমার বাড়ি রানাঘাট, আমাকে রানাঘাটে আসতে হতো। তো সকালবেলায় আমরা বসতাম, আমি মোটামুটি 8টা সাড়ে 8টা নাগাদ দিয়ে বসতাম, এবং একটা কল্পনা করতে হতো যেন গোল গোল করে দেখানো আছে, যে একটা আন্দাজ করতাম যে এরকম একটা গোল রয়েছে, দুটো গোল ওখানে গোল দেওয়া আছে, একটা গোলই আন্দাজ করতাম, কারণ 200 মিটারের মধ্যে নিলে বাট এই বারটা ওখানে ঢুকে যেতে পারে, মাপতে পারবো না। তো ওই একটা গোল আন্দাজ করা হতো, এবং তার মধ্যে কতগুলো পাখি মোটামুটি পড়তে পারে তার একটা হিসেব করা হতো, যে মানে একটা এই যে এটা পেলাম ওটা, কিন্তু বার্ড আইডেন্টিফাই করাটা একটু ডিফিকাল্ট হতো, কারণ অনেকটা দূরে হতো আমার থেকে, আইডেন্টিফাই করতে পারতাম না। বড় পাখি ভালো দেখা যেত, ছোট পাখির ক্ষেত্রে একটু সমস্যাই হতো। তো ওইভাবে কতগুলো একটা সময় হয়তো 10 মিনিট টাইম নিলাম বা 20 মিনিট টাইম নিলাম, যে 20 মিনিটে এতগুলো দেখা গেল, ওটাই আমরা নোট ডাউন করে রাখতাম আর কি। নর্মালি 20 মিনিট এক্সটেন্সিভ হয়ে যেত, 10-12 মিনিটটা ঠিকঠাক করা যেত। হ্যাঁ স্যার, থ্যাংক ইউ।